Hey Audio Engineering, this is Mr. Goldschmidt, and today we're going to talk about recording with microphones. While recording with microphones today, we need to make sure we plug in our microphone properly, and I'll talk about that with our audio interfaces here in a moment. We're going to test our levels, make sure we don't have clipping, and clipping is when your waveform, your sound you record in is way too loud and it hits the edge of the theoretical box that you're able to record in. Finally, we're going to do some recording today, and we're going to think about breathing, pacing, tone, and inflection in your voice, and then we're going to edit and clean up those mistakes, add some audio into the background, and then turn it in on Google Classroom. So the first thing we need to do is to plug in our microphone. If you have just a USB microphone, you're going to plug it through into the USB. If you have one that uses the audio jacks, the red and the green jack on the back, you can just plug those in, they're going to work fine. If you happen to have a USB audio box, like I'm going to use, this is an image of what it looks like. You have two plugins for a left and a right mic, but if you're just using one microphone, you'll plug it into the first input there. These will take a 1/4 inch or an XLR, your typical microphone plug-in. Next, if you're using a condenser microphone, if you're using one of mine, it's a condenser microphone, you'll need to turn on and press this button and it'll light up red. That's our phantom power. It provides a really small trickle of energy, of power in there so that your microphone works. If you try and your microphone doesn't work, it's probably because you haven't turned this on. Next, we're going to turn on our individual channel volume. We're going to be using channel 1, so we need to turn up our channel 1 volume and power there. So you're going to turn that up, about midway to start. We'll talk about that more in a moment. If you're also on this, there's a mixer input, and it says input on a mixer volume, and it says input on one side and playback on the other. If you want to hear your voice, you need to turn that dial over to the input, hearing yourself into the microphone. If you want to hear your voice being played back through this particular unit from the computer, when you hit play, hear it through here, then you need to move that over to playback. So right now I have that over on input so you can test your microphone, make sure it works. You can have your headphones plugged in through this box on the back if you've got a 1/4 inch jack. If not, you'll have to plug into the computer. If you're plugged into the computer, your headphone volume will not work. But if you're plugged into this box, it will work. And finally, we have our mains. If you had speakers plugged into this box and going out like I do in the classroom, then this would matter. If not, then either use headphone or use the computer volume as well. So that's how the audio box USB plug-ins work. If we jump back over here, we're going to be testing our levels and recording. Before we hit the scary story assignment, I want you to go ahead and click on the opening up the scary story assignment in Soundtrap, and let's talk about how you're actually going to record. So I have open my scary story assignment, and I have a track with a microphone. If you don't know, you can go to Add Track, find your voice and microphone button, and click that, and it'll open up a voice and microphone track. So I'm going to start here with track 1, get rid of this other one. Now the default, if you can't hear your microphone, it should pull up once you double click on the track here. You can switch between different microphones that you might have plugged in. Right now I'm going to use that default blue microphone, which is the one I'm using. It also shows me my input as I talk. This little purple bar fills up and shows that I'm getting sound in. If you're not getting sound in, you may have to go up to your settings and check to make sure that your microphone is plugged in properly. Next, by default, the setting on your voice is going to be called Computer Mic Enhancer. We do not want to use Computer Mic Enhancer. If you're doing a recording and you listen and it has lots of echo and it sounds really weird, it's because you have Computer Mic Enhancer on. Turn that off. It's terrible. We want to record, if you go down to, you see voice, these are all the vocal effects in Soundtrap. We want to record dry. So go down to dry, that means there's no effect on at all. It's completely blank. It's a good starting point for us to be on. So my voice is recording dry. You'll notice that the reverb is all the way down, pans in the middle, and my volume's at a good volume. Next, I'm going to go ahead and change my count in to off. That means once I start recording, it's just going to go. There's no count in because I don't really need a metronome right now. I'm not recording music, I'm just recording audio. Then I can go to start recording. Hi, this is Mr. Goldschmidt, and this is my test recording on the scary story assignment. I've just done a test recording now. I can go back and play that test recording. Hi, this is Mr. Goldschmidt, and this is my test recording on the scary story assignment. Now, I've recorded that dry. If I went in, you can go ahead and add effects to your voice and see what it sounds like, such as the computer mic enhancer. Hi, this is Mr. Goldschmidt, and this is my test recording on the Scary Story assignment. Or let's do dub and see what this sounds like. Hi, this is Mr. Goldschmidt, and this is my test recording on the Scary Story assignment. But of course, right now we just want our voice dry without any effects on it for this particular story at the moment. All right, now let's get in the details on the assignment. The Scary Story assignment sheet can be found right here. I'm going to open that up. Your objective for today is to record yourself telling a story on Soundtrap. Once you've recorded, you want to remove mistakes, pauses, and to get one smooth, uninterrupted speech. You can add effects to enhance your voice and music to match the story. So the first thing to do is to record. We've plugged in, we've tested our levels, we're using the dry preset, and we're going to record that voice narration. What do you record? I'll show you in a moment. Then we're going to edit, remove mistakes, breathing, any long, awkward pauses. It's easy to do that, and the details are right here. Then we can add effects to our voice. Some effects you might want to add are compression, we might want to add reverb, and we might want to add EQ. And I'll go over all this in class as well. Then let's talk about wet versus dry. When you have a track 100% wet, that means the track has the full effect on it. 100% dry means it's a dull sound with zero effect. 50-50 means we can split the track evenly by doubling that track. We can have one track wet and one track completely dry for clarity. So the voice on your recording is probably really dry. We can add effects like EQ to deepen up the voice or anything else. Finally, we're going to add music to our track, and I have some music ready to go for you that you can add in. Then we'll export this as an MP3. So the first thing you need to do is go and find which story you want. There are two different ones. There's Scary Story 1 and Scary Story 2. And there's also two different musics you can choose. I don't care which one you choose. I'm going to go ahead and pick on Scary Story 1. And here's the text that we are going to read as you record. You're going to record this text straight through, and then after recording, I want you to go in and you can add your music. So to add music, we can click and find your little download button. Once it downloads, it's simple and easy to add in by dragging in to Soundtrap. And there's my music in the background. You can cut and edit this however you want to shorten it up. And then you can add your voice with your microphone. Now, let's pretend that this recording right here is my voice. And I have a chunk that I want to cut out because it's random mumbling, or maybe I made a big mistake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this little purple arrow here, and that's my snap tool. And I want to turn my snap off. That way I can click around wherever I want, and it's not going to shove it into a place I don't want. So I want to delete from right here until, about over here at measure 17, because all of this is a mistake. So if I click there, and then I'm going to right click on my track, normal click to select it. I'm going to right click and go to split region, and it's going to split my track there, what I want to get rid of. Then I also want to get rid of right over here. And you can hit play and stop it right where you want. I'm going to click split region here, and then I can take the stuff in the middle, delete it, and then grab my track and move it over to reconnect it. If I also find I want to take out something else, like right here in my audio, I can split, hit right next to it, split region again, delete what's in the middle. You can choose to leave the space if it's a small mistake and you want it to sound natural right after, or like breathing or anything like that, or you can choose to close the space. All right, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. Besides that, get to work on your Scary Story assignment.